Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing a 2022 model year limited edition of 99 pieces. This is the Bell & Ross BR-X1, but rose gold, ceramic, and titanium. So the watch is made of all of those, plus rubber and sapphire. It's a large timepiece with a roughly square case, 45 millimeters in diameter, 15 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip. And those are ceramic lugs. It's 53.3 millimeters. Although the spacing between the lugs is 24 millimeters, you can see the strap, which is custom cut for the watch, is considerably broader than that. So unless you have a very ambitious custom strap maker, you're probably going to want to stick with Bell & Ross OEM options. Now, throwing the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you could see it takes up all of my wrist. Now, I could definitely wear this, but any smaller a wrist and you're going to wind up with proportion issues. So I would recommend 16 centimeters circumference or larger. Now, that said, it's not as thick as I expected. It even has a bit of a sloped ramp to its case flank, so it should fit under jacket cuffs. Being largely gold, it is hefty on the wrist, and being a large watch, it reinforces that sense of mass. Even with sapphire and titanium and ceramic, this has a reassuring upscale weight to it. The strap is handsome, matte black with some character lines and strakes molded in to give it a bit more definition. You can see how the strap attaches to the lugs themselves, and this can be removed with the Bell & Ross strap tool. We have here a buckle to match the case, and you can see it's a simple piece. What I like is that the outermost component has actually been rubber coated. It has a wonderful texture and a tonal contrast with the remainder, which is satinated and polished. We're taking a quick look at the case. Externally, we've got a lot of black ceramic here, which is great because that's a highly scratch-resistant material. We also have a bezel, which is beveled on its side and then satinated with a sort of circular satin around the top. We have a satin across the top of the bezel, and then you can see it has two facets outboard, one of which is sloped and polished, the other which is vertical and satinated. Now you can see at the four corners, the bezel actually overlaps the case. The case is impressively constructed, likely by G&F Chatelain, which, like Bell & Ross, is part of the Chanel family of companies. Chatelain is one of the finest case and clasp makers in the business, so to have a case made by them is quite a distinction. You could see that we have a set of screws that fix the case together. So these are screws, so that's why they don't align perfectly. Some people ask, well, why aren't the screws aligned? It's because they're not bolts like on a Royal Oak. Taking a quick look at the crown, it's a screw-down crown. It has a rubber shoulder. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. We have a dial that's skeletonized, and the BR-313 movement includes some of the blackened silver and grayscale components, which have been evacuated and skeletonized for your viewing pleasure. Now, the chronograph has a Dubois de Praz module on top. You can just about see that the chronograph pusher centers are taller than the center line of the crown. That's because the chronograph module is on the top. It is an automatic winder with a 40-hour power reserve that Bell & Ross says is good for no worse than -0 plus 10 seconds a day, and they claim to regulate the watch in 4 positions. So it's nice to know that some degree of adjustment is performed and that the watch is guaranteed from the factory not to lose time. Losing time is a mortal sin for a watch. Now, when you screw the crown out, you have a hacking seconds or stop seconds function, and then you have a quick set system that allows you to rapidly cycle the date. You can see that the date wheel here is skeletonized, and it sits on top of a white backlit plate that allows you to read the current date at 6 o'clock. The watch includes a little constant seconds indicator over at 3 o'clock, and then there's a little 30-minute index that doubles as a spoked flywheel for the minutes indicator at 9 o'clock. We have overlapping cantilevered individual indices for the hours, and I particularly like the use of gold-colored bolts on the dial side. There's a secondary sapphire under the primary one that acts as the mounting point for example, the frame for the minutes register, as well as the silk screening for the name of the company and the frame for the date. It's also a support for the cantilevered hour indices. Outboard, there is a tachymeter scale in a sort of matte gray metallic, and then we have a step for reading the minutes, seconds, and fractions of second. The tachymeter scale with the chronograph can be used to gauge the speed of an object such as a car over a kilometer. Now, the movement has a little balance viewport on the reverse side that has the Bell & Ross ampersand on it. This is number 5 of the 99-piece edition. The case back itself is actually blackened titanium. So the primary components of this case, titanium, rose gold, ceramic, and sapphire. Caliber 313 is either an ETA 2892A2 or a Sellita SW300, which is the equivalent of a 2892. It is automatic winding, bidirectional winding action, 40-hour power reserve. It is 8 beats per second or 4 hertz. It pivots in this case on 56 joules because that's for both the module and the base. And you've got the hacking, the quick set, and the attestation that the watch will never lose time and gain no more than 10 seconds a day. Because it is a module, you have a module that's a combination of a cam-based actuation system, albeit a very well-indexed one that feels and sounds great. And then it uses a vertical clutch for seamless engagement of the chronograph. So when you start the chrono, there's absolutely no jump or stagger. It's a lot more efficient and precise than something like a traditional lateral clutch. And vertical clutches, unless they're imprecisely adjusted, always reset perfectly to the index at 60. We'll do a quick loom shot of this watch because it is fairly well loomed and it is a sports watch after all. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.